Wide receivers I love and you must draft. I've got 5 big names here for you, and I'm not typically a guy that loves wide receivers. I'm more of a running back guy, but this video you want to watch and wait till the end, because at the end, I'm sharing with you a wide receiver that's literally going undrafted in most leagues, or he might get picked up pretty much with the last pick, and his ADP should rise as soon as training camp starts. But as of right now, completely off people's radar and could actually finish as a top 10 receiver. Yes, you heard it here first, okay? So 5 wide receivers, and the last one, you better be sitting down because you can get him for an absolute steal at the time it's recorded. That's why I like to record these videos, to inform you and make you guys aware that the mainstream sheep will not tell you this stuff. They'll just copy and paste rankings. They'll say, this guy finished on top last year, draft him again in that order. It doesn't work like that. That's not how you win your leagues. Remember, Lad McConkey, Brian Thomas last year, and even Xavier Worthy were exceptional value, yet they finished on top ahead of many, many other wide receivers, right? Remember, Christian Kirk was ranked ahead of Brian Thomas Jr. That right there is just one example. I'm going to keep hammering that point home. Their rankings don't work. Last year, Deebo Samuel and Ayuk were both coming off round 3. How did they finish, right? Absolute trash finishes. So it's very important you guys listen and you draft the right wide receivers. If you're new to the channel, smash it, tap it, slap it, hit the thumbs up. Make sure you guys do subscribe. Got some amazing content coming your way here. Hit the thumbs up and drop a comment below. Which wide receiver do you love? I want to share the love with you guys. We're talking love here. So tell me who you love at the wide receiver position for Fantasy Football 2025. Let me know where you're from, how long you've been playing fantasy. I want to make this interactive. I like to learn about my listeners, about the people that are here. I value your viewership, so I want to learn more about you. Let's make your voice be heard in the comments below. Love to get it, okay? Subscribe, thumbs up. Now, if you haven't gotten 16 rounds, make sure you guys secure the solution as well. I've linked it below. Use code WIN to save. This will put you light years completely ahead of the sheep. Sleepers, breakouts, ironclad roster, printable cheat sheet, which I update till the season starts, full mock drafts, everything laid out for you. Grab 60 rounds. You'll never look back at rankings again. You'll have the optimal roster, all right? Let's talk about these wide receivers. Starting with the first one here is Malik Neighbors. Now, this one is obvious. I wanted to pick a top guy, top guy in the first round, because when you're looking at the first round, there's a lot of guys that could potentially bust. Amon-Ra St. Brown. I just had Walter Football on the show talking about that whole interior. The whole offensive line is changed. Well, a big part of it anyway, right? You've got new offensive coordinator. You get a lot of changes and shifts there. And there's a lot of hype about Jameson Williams getting more integrated, Sam Laporta having a down year last year, and Jahmyr Gibbs catching more balls. I think Amon-Ra could be a safe to a bust guy. Like, he's safe, but he doesn't have that ceiling, right? You got guys like Jamar Chase coming off pinnacle years. You got Justin Jefferson with a suspect quarterback. We haven't really seen what McCarthy could do, right? There's other wide receivers in the first round, guys like even Brian Thomas Jr., right? Great value last year, round 9. This year coming off round 1 with the addition of Travis Hunter there, who could be a better receiver, and Trevor Lawrence throwing the ball. Do we trust Trevor Lawrence with our first round pick? That's a question you got to ask, right? So Malik Neighbors is my first wide receiver I love because I love the situation, right? And I don't even want to focus on stats in this video particularly, but I will tell you he's a top target getter. He was a rookie last year, and he can only do better. I don't think he's even scratched the surface. But when you don't talk about stats, you got to take a look at who else is there, and he's got no competition, right? He's got Wan'Dale Robinson. Like, Wan'Dale sucks. Wan'Dale Robinson, they've got Slayton, they got Hyatt, right? These guys are pretty much NPCs at wide receiver, like non-playable characters. Like, there's certain players that, like, just shine, and then there's certain players that just never do anything, right? It's like, who are these guys? Okay, so when a player shines and has a major gap between him and the other wide receivers on the depth chart, you got to take a look at that player and consider him. So Malik Neighbors, ultra elite talent, great situation. And here's the thing, right? He's got Russell Wilson throwing the ball, which is great. And if he even messes up, you've got Dart coming in, Jackson Dart, who could have a high ceiling as a quarterback, right? So they've got options to make Malik Neighbors get the ball and make him look good this year. So I love Malik, man. I mean, he's just, there's so much upside. I think he's the best receiver drafted round 1. I think he finishes as a top wide receiver, arguably, okay? Number 2, I've talked about him before in other videos. Again, stay to the end because, again, that last one, I've talked about him briefly. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. You may not have heard of him. Hit the subscribe button because you're going to start hearing about these things. But that last one, I think there's so much upside, okay? But number 2 is Marvin Harrison Jr. I just had Tim the Bald Guy on the show. He disagrees with everything I say. That's okay. We get Marvin Harrison Jr. this year at a 1-round discount based on last year, okay? Now, last year, Harrison was coming off early round 2. Now you get him round 3, and it depends on where in round 3, as you see him in a 12-person league redraft. It varies, mid-round 3, late round 3, early round 3, but he's typically a round 3 guy. Now, why do I love him so much? It's very simple. Again, don't look at the stats for a second. Take a look at opportunity. Whenever I look at wide receivers, how big is the gap between him and everybody else? They've got Michael Wilson and Zay Jones. They don't have anybody else to catch the ball. They got Trey McBride, yes, but wide receivers are the one, not tight ends. Now, we've seen situations like KC where Kelsey's emerged and other guys get peppered the ball. But I believe that Marvin Harrison is just too good not to get the ball. And if you've seen pictures, the muscle he's put on, it's remarkable. It's like day and night photos. This guy is focused. He's ready to make an impact this year. He's a breakout candidate. I love Marvin Harrison, love the 3rd round value. And here's the cool thing, right? If you go 2 running backs in round 1 and 2, you're still getting that ace wide receiver who's ultra elite talent and gets volume. That is the key when you look at wide receivers. You look at the talent, how good are they? There's no denying Marvin Harrison Jr.'s talent. And then you look at the opportunity, talent and opportunity, volume. There's nobody else there. Those are 2 key indicators for me of a success of a wide receiver. And here's the cool thing about when you're talking fantasy football draft strategy for 2025, there's a ton of wide receivers you get later, right? They can do great numbers and have great talent, right? Volume. That's why I'm going top heavy running backs this year and get wide receivers later, right? You don't want to get wide receivers early, right? And then get running backs later because the running backs later don't have a good chance of being the RB1 and getting the volume. And there isn't that much talent as much as there is wide receiver later. Does that make sense? A guy like Jaden Blue, like we don't know. A guy's like Woody Marks, right? We don't know. Michelle Tootin with the Jacksonville at running back, we don't know. We don't know what some of these running backs could do, and they're kind of buried in depth charts, right? So with wide receivers, there's more clear paths to wide receiver 1. Hopefully that makes sense for you, okay? Number 3 here, the wide receiver I love, 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 love. This episode's about love. Again, drop a comment below. Who do you love at the wide receiver position? But the guy I love is Calvin Ridley here, wide receiver 35. By the way, Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver 21. And there's a lot of other wide receivers that are going to bust that are coming off ahead of these guys. But I love Ridley, number 3. Why? Again, no competition and talent is there. And here's the thing, right? The reason you're getting him as a discount is because of the uncertainty of Cam Ward. As soon as the mainstream and all this, when they're making these rankings or these rankings come together, they get scared of rookies. Lad McConkey, Brian Thomas last year, scared of rookies. Laporta the year before, scared of rookies, right? Tyler Warren this year, there's a tight end sleeper for you coming off round 7 and 9. Why? Because he's a rookie, right? So they're afraid of Cam Ward. But Cam Ward is an ultra efficient, accurate quarterback for what we've seen in college. They've given him a lot of offensive weapons. And Calvin Ridley's a veteran receiver who could definitely get the ball a lot, okay? And here's the thing. You get him after, round 5, 6, 7? Like, that's amazing value. For Calvin Ridley, actually comes off more after round 6 to 7. I've seen him fall to 8 sometimes, okay? But here's the thing. You're getting a wide receiver 1. Now, you could say that Lockett's going to get some work. Alik Ayamanor. They've got a bunch of rookie Restapo. They've got a bunch of rookie wide receivers that could emerge and become Cam's target. There's some uncertainty there. But hey, at the point of the recording of this video, Calvin Ridley should still be the clear-cut 1, and you're getting a wide receiver 1 for immense value. To put it into context for you, Calvin Ridley's a wide receiver 1, ultra elite talent, and people are drafting T. Higgins round 2 or Adams round 3. Well, we don't even know. We don't even know. You don't know if Adams is the 1. We don't know if Adams is the 2, and Puka's coming off round 1. It's like you guys haven't made up your mind. Or T. Higgins round 2, Jamar Chase round 1. We know Chase is the 1, but we know Higgins is the 2. Okay, so Higgins maxes out at 109 targets, 110 with 10 touchdown pinnacle year last year, and you're gonna settle for that in round 2 when you get a guy with more ceiling in Calvin Ridley round 7. It's about the value, guys. About the value. Okay. Speaking of value, let's go to number 4 here. Absolutely love him. It's Keon Coleman. Now, here's the deal, man. Okay, I've looked at the depth chart. I've studied the depth chart. Last year, everyone was telling you Kincaid round 3. And Curtis Samuel's going to emerge as the 1. Curtis Samuel sucks, okay? Khalil Shakira sucks. They're not alphas. They're not the true one. Now, last year, I was wrong about Keon. I thought he would have been the next Stephon Diggs. It didn't happen in his rookie year. A big part of that is he didn't have that rapport with Josh Allen. They weren't connecting 100%. He had to deal with injuries. He was just getting in the groove. They've addressed that, right? He's bulked up. He's sped up. He looks better in his routes. His hands look better. I've seen some training videos. Not to mention he's acknowledged. He said, hey, I had a bad year last year, okay? Also, not to mention, I think a big part of this was because of Keon Coleman not being in the groove. Allen threw a lot less than last year, and a guy like James Cook benefited because he was a reliable outlet for Josh Allen to dump the ball off to and get that extra yardage, okay? That's why Cook benefited, because they didn't have a true one. This year, Keon steps up. It's a bit of a risk, right? But if you can get Keon Coleman, which you can, again, round 9 and after, which is phenomenal, wide receiver 53 for a guy who's a wide receiver 1, that is a great deal. So I'm going to make sure Keon Coleman is on all my rosters. I actually ended up missing out on him in my big buy-in league, the big high-stakes league, my 2K buy-in. I do have Allen. I somehow missed out on Keon Coleman. I don't know what I was thinking. This was probably drafted, I think, the first week of May, or I think it was like April I drafted that league. I draft super early. And I still love my roster. The roster is great, but I ended up actually missing out on Keon Coleman particularly. But that's okay. I got other great players. But I love Keon Coleman. I think he's going to have a great season. Look out. Now, the final guy I've talked about, if you're a regular on my show, you're like, thanks, Joe, you've told us this, I know, but let me explain why I love this guy, okay? I dove into some stats on why he's going to actually succeed, all right? The guy I'm talking about is Dante Thornton Jr. I had him on my show. Go back a couple episodes, all right? Why do I love Dante Thornton? Here's why, all right? He's already playing with first-team reps. This guy is going to be the alpha wide receiver 1. Why? Let's talk about him first of all, physically, and then I'll talk about some Geno Smith stuff here that's really going to get you guys excited about Dante Thornton, okay? Dante Thornton, 4.3 speed, ultra elite talent, tall, strong, but also fast. He's got that rare, I'm telling you, when I say this word, don't take it lightly, rare ability, right? When a player is really big, they tend to be slightly slower. This guy's got both speed and size, which is a rare combination. Amazing stuff. Now, I'm going to give you guys some stuff to get excited about him, okay? First of all, Jacoby Myers sucks. He's not a true one. Again, he's a fake one, just like Khalil Shakir is, just like a bunch of other wide receivers were, like last year, like Brandon Ayuk, fake wide receiver 1s, okay? That's first and foremost. Last year, Brock Bowers only benefited is because there was nobody else there. Again, going back to point number 1, Myers sucks. Stick with me here, right? So Bowers benefited because there was nobody else there, and he had a bunch of crappy quarterbacks that just relied on the tight end to grab it. They just saw a big target, they threw it to him. I throw to a big target. I'm Aiden O'Connell. Okay, just stick with me. Jock mentality, right? Like, that's it. Like Minshew. I see big target, I throw. Like, you know what I mean? It was like there was no thought process behind it, yet Brock Bowers benefited. It was like, wow, that's amazing. I did well because there's nobody else there. Surprise. I could have been out there, right? Anyway, so stick with me on that. So Bowers is a waste of a second-round pick. That's a whole other discussion. But Geno Smith was 4th in passing attempts. Stick with me here. 4th in passing attempts with 578. So what does that mean? Let's stick to the logic here. Geno Smith throws the ball a lot, 578. Now, here's the thing. I looked at the past 2 years when he was with Seattle. Guess what? The tight end obviously wasn't as good talent-wise as Brock Bowers, but Noah Fant only saw 64 targets last year, and in 2023 only saw 43 targets. What does that mean? It could mean one or two things. Number one, Noah Fant is not that good, didn't deserve the targets. Number two, Geno Smith does not target tight ends that much. The beneficiaries throughout the years were the wide receivers, particularly JSN last year with 137 targets. DK Metcalf with 108, Tyler Lockett 74. So he hones in on one wide receiver that he really likes. In last case scenario, JSN, and then there was DK Metcalf, who also got his share with 108, and Lockett. Now, this year they got Jack Beck, they got Thornton, they've got Bowers. And they got Myers. I think the talent emerges. It's gonna be who he connects with. Now, I'm not spending an early round pick on Bowers, right? Because we know he's going to decline. I'm not spending it on Myers because we know he's not that good. But if I can get Thornton near the end of the draft, who's got the most upside, the most talent, and the most exciting opportunity, why wouldn't I do that? In fact, I've got Beck and Thornton stacked in a bunch of leagues because I think one of them, I know one of them is going to emerge as the actual one. Okay. We know, like I said, I'm not sold on the Bowers thing. I think he's a good player, but he benefited based on situation and volume. Remember talent and volume? Remember how they emerged? Well, now it's a whole new quarterback who we just confirmed doesn't throw to tight ends that much. Could it be because of Noah Fant? Maybe. I don't know. But they've drafted wide receivers with intention that they want to use wide receivers. Also, as a bonus here with Brock Bowers' decline, and this is where the video is shifting here on a player to avoid, but Genty also another a true running back that catch the ball in the backfield, so more dilution for Bowers. So the point I'm trying to make here, if you're drafting a Raider, don't invest high draft capital because it might be diluted. And if it does become where a wide receiver one is going to emerge, why not grab Thornton with the last pick? Guys, I use logic. I don't just draft based on, hey, this guy finished on top last year, let's draft him again. This is the channel if you want to win. That's why you got to subscribe and grab 60 round draft solution, because I lay out all the optimal players so you guys can actually win your leagues. If this is making sense to you, hit the thumbs up, drop a comment below. Which wide receiver do you love? Subscribe. Very important you subscribe. All right. Join the Patreon group for direct access. I do direct coaching. Grab 16 rounds. Everything's laid out for you. You guys will be light years ahead of the sheep. All right. Have yourself an outstanding day. I appreciate you being here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We will talk soon. I'm out.